This is how to adjust the limit switches, proximity sensor, and magnet on the abort gate to ensure proper working order. Often these sensors have come loose during shipping and installation. We recommend adjusting these before adding the weather hood. First, you need to adjust the lower limit switch on the raising arm of the abort gate. The purpose of this limit switch is to stop power to the winch when the lifting arm is fully retracted. Align the switch lever with the back bracket. Next, you need to raise the gate until the cable engages and lifts the abort gate blade. Then manually retract the blade just until the blade comes to rest. This will allow you to set the switch lever to that point. From this point, raise the gate again to allow you to drop the switch another 1/4 of an inch. Then tighten the switch at this position. Now you can manually retract the gate until the switch engages. This will allow you to see if the switch is set correctly. You want to make sure you have a gap between the lifting bracket and the spring-loaded arm. You also want a gap between the lifting arm and the switch box. Test the switch again by lifting the arm and then tighten down the set screw completely on the switch lever. When you manually retract the arm again, double check that it shuts off in the correct position with the necessary gaps. Next, you need to adjust the upper limit switch for the abort gate blade. The upper limit switch shuts off power to the winch once the abort gate blade is lifted to the correct position. Make sure the power cable to your magnet is unplugged before making adjustments. Make sure the switch lever reaches below the gasket. This is a good starting point. Tighten the lever to test the blade position. You can now raise the abort gate blade to see when it no longer engages the lift. When the limit switch stops the abort gate blade, check to see that there is no gap between the gasket and the blade of the abort gate. This is how you ensure it is in the correct position. Now you can adjust the magnet. First, while the magnet is unplugged, make sure it is sitting flush on the metal puck. If it needs adjusted, loosen the adjustment nuts on the top to lower it into the correct position. You will want a little bit of movement in the washers. That is how you know it is sitting flush and not too tight. Now that the limit switch is set and the magnet is sitting on the puck, you can manually retract the abort gate blade. Once the blade is down, you can plug in the power cable to the magnet. To make sure there is power and the magnet is working, you can stick a wrench to the magnet to test it. Now you can raise the abort gate blade until the magnet rests on it again. With the magnet working and the limit switch adjusted, you can now adjust the proximity sensor. The job of the proximity sensor is to detect when the abort gate is in the correct position. It then tells the lifting arm to retract and arms the abort gate. To adjust the proximity sensor, loosen the top nut to lower the sensor until the red light on the sensor comes on and it relieves the pressure from the lifting arm. Continue to loosen the nut until the red light becomes solid and the lifting arm retracts. Once you have this position, give the nut another 1/4 turn loose to correctly adjust it. Now you can tighten the lower nut to hold the sensor in place. Using a wrench, tighten the nut to lock the sensor in place. Now your proximity switch is set with the red light on, and the abort gate is ready, and armed with the green light on the control board. Once you have everything into position, you will need to fine-tune your magnet. Touch the side of the magnet to see if it is cool or warm to the touch. If it is warm, the magnet is not centered and will need to be adjusted. If the magnet is cool, then it is in the correct position, and adjust the lifting bolts to make the washer slightly snug. Understand that with the lifting arm down, the abort gate blade is only being held up by this magnet. Double check to make sure the magnet is still cool after adjusting and that the proximity sensor light is still on. Also, double check to see that there is no gap between the blade and the gasket. If there is a gap, use the lifting bolt on the magnet to bring it back up. Now that everything has been adjusted and double checked, your abort gate is armed and ready to abort.